relations and tried to meet with agents and all that other stuff. I sent out submissions in all the usual ways. After 2,000 or 3,000 rejection letters, I finally decided, this isn't going to work. If I want to make this happen, I've got to take a more active part. So I got together with a bunch of my friends, and literally we produced a publishing company in order to.
So you formed your own publishing company.
Yes.
It's interesting because those of us who don't want to deal with the traditional publishers and all of their interesting rejection letters, we either go to a company, a self-publishing company, or people do what you did. And so what kind of people did you need to do that?
Well, I had hoped to find other authors. And all those rejection letters, by the way, I think they're all the same letter. I think they're mass-produced somewhere like in Peoria, Illinois, and they just ship them out to the publishers to send them in the submissions. But I was hoping, obviously, to get other authors so that collectively we would create a publishing company. So we could publish mine and theirs and theirs and theirs, and create, the same thing that any publishing has. So, a list of authors that are all working together. And then, of course, we wanted to have marketing people with connections in the industry, because I had no background in this.
That's right.
I had no network of people, no publicists, no network of people I could, try and get any of the proper connections with. So I was hoping to get more people like that, but it didn't really work out that way. And, again, right now, it's been shrinking because a lot of the people who were helping me or planning on helping me got jobs. They were out of work. Now they got jobs. Well, they didn't have the time to devote to it.
But in the actual production of the book, who did you need? You needed a word processing program on your computer, and where did you go from there?
Well, pretty much the bottom line is I ended up having to do most of it myself, including the illustrating, inclling the word processing,
so you did the
editing, layout. Yes. I did the illustrations.
Really,
I got some help with
yeah.
editing, but for the most part, most of the production aspect of it, I had to do myself.
So in other words, you created the printer's file.
Yes.
And then took it to a printer to have it printed.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. And
a big learning curve.
Yeah.
There are like 1,000 different jobs involved in this, and I had to learn from scratch, most of them.
Yes, I'm at it for about 3 years with my books, and you talk about a steep learning curve when you go from teaching to this. And marketing, what a bear. It's really difficult.
Well, again,
what are you doing? I mean, you're lucky enough to have a program that appeals to educators, so you get into schools and libraries.
Yes. That's still my primary form of marketing. But I do a lot of things. I expanded my Monster Hunt, for instance, to do town-wide monster hunts, which I did, for instance, in White Plains, New York. I did one where we had the local bookstore and the local mall and the library and some local stores all involved, and kids would have to go to the different stores to find clues, and expanded it that way. And all the publicity and writing and sending out, press releases and all of the details of marketing and publicity and calling up stores and calling up different places to try and
newsletters and yes, I know.
Again.
What about your website? Tell us about your website.
One of those things I had to pretty much do on my own, which it's a pretty sad website, honestly. There are a lot of things I wish I could do with it, and when I earn enough money from this to hire someone to make it better, I probably will. But it doesn't get nearly that much attention yet that it's worth the investment at this point. But yeah, I put that together myself also.
What I found with websites is my website was partially produced for free and partially produced by somebody, so I did pay some money for it. But what I find is you have to direct people to the website. It's like your books. You produce your book, nobody knows it's there. That's what marketing is. And so what I found is that if you have a blog and a Facebook page and you do LinkedIn and you do Twitter and you do all of those, because you're always directing people to that website, and that's the only way. Otherwise, no one knows it's there, because nobody's really going to search for a website that says
MonsterDetectiveAgency.com.
Monsters.
Nope, not going to happen.
I know.
Well, that's the thing, again, and you have to find out, because when you're doing so much on your own, which of your efforts are yielding results and which ones are not. And I got a Twitter account, I got a Facebook account and all that, and I got a lot of friends, but it really wasn't leading people where I wanted them to go, so I decided to spend a lot less energy on that.
Yeah,
and
I think it ebbs and flows, actually, because there are times when I get a lot of response from Facebook, and right now I just started Twitter, and there's some interesting, responses from Twitter, So we'll see. But like you, because I was a teacher for so long, I find going out to the schools, going to fairs, all
Yeah.
of those kinds of things, and having, when you're in the school, having an interactive program. That's the buzzword in
Well, like I
education,
said.
right? Interactive. The kids.
I thought I invented it.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
Well, like I said, I've been, again, going to book fairs and festivals and trying to get in on those. Going to Book Expo America, which is the, the
Yes, I
publishing
went there
companies.
once.
I've been there now each of the last 5
No,
years.
after the first one, I
And doing
gave up.
book signings there and doing promotions there. But again, it was a great experience, but it probably wasn't yielding as much of a result, what I found from, checking on the results that I would hope for.
What's your greatest joy that you get out of this?
My greatest joy is still being a parent, but my greatest joy regarding this is still very much a parent-like one. It's when a kid writes and says to me, "This really helped me," because then I get that feeling. It's like you feel,
Yes.
the clouds part and the light
Yes.
comes down from heaven and says, "Yes, I did good, thank you."
Yes.
It's like I feel graced. Because that's really how I felt about the book in the first place, when I had the inspiration for it. The lights up, whoa, and it just came right through you and into the typewriter. It's like, I'm like, wow, I did this. When you have that feeling, it's so gratifying to feel that you did something that's, I'm not sure the right, better than you are. When you've created something, it's like, again, being a parent. Having something in your hands that you're so proud that you created.
And that connects.
Yeah.
That connects to other people.
Yeah. And the only thing that's better about writing than being a parent is I don't get a sippy cup thrown at my head. So
You don't get a sippy. That's funny. What's your absolute best tip for writers?
well, this is going to sound like a very bad, discouraging tip, but I say, if you're writing because you want to be rich and famous, quit now. But
Yes.
if you're writing because you have a story and you love it, then you stick with it. It's like a lot of writers who are and I've been to all these writers' conferences, the professional writers, if you write it and it's not getting results, throw it aside, just write something else. Because they're writers, this is how they make a living. They, you make a living by
People
writing.
ask me how I wrote a book. I said you have to have a story first. You need a story.
Well,
Or something that you need to say
I
that's
would-
worth saying.
yes, that's how I would say it. When I do writing workshops, the first thing you need is inspiration. You have to have something that you love, that you really
Passion.
love telling. Exactly, that
Passion.
you love telling, want to tell a story
A
about.
story, passion, and diligence.
Yes, absolutely.
Was great.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Nice meeting you.
Nice to talk to a fellow educator.